you obviously been back in the gym again today, been started training again this week.
Yeah, didn't take anything off really. Took Sunday off to myself. Was back in gym training Monday night, just as normal. So sort of got a few things in the pipeline. So head back down, training away, and looking forward to some things sort of coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. What's the atmosphere in the gym been like since you got back? Obviously Joe as well as yourself getting the wins over the weekend.
Yeah, the gym's been buzzing. I think if you've maybe seen on my channel today or last night the video came out of Joe arrived in the gym Monday, so everyone in the gym was buzzing to see Joe's. We also had like a wee party for him, had the party hats on, balloons and stuff. And,
yeah, I saw that.
Joe come in to sort of chant me welcome. No, the gym's been absolutely buzzing, but that's just like that's down to the hard work and stuff we see Joe put in. We see everybody puts in the hard work. Everybody sort of they're all the time. They're working hard and they're putting in these sessions. Some people are training 7 days a week. Some people are training like sort of 4 and 5, but it's everyone's sort of different levels. And but the one thing is, when everyone shows up, always hard work, 100% of the time you're there. Do you know what I mean? And so it's just fitting that Joe sort of got the champion attitude because he works just as hard as I do in the gym. He also works a full-time job, and he's got a lot of commitments on his the gym, really his wife and stuff. So it was just good to see it for Joe. No one deserves it more.
Yeah, you must have felt that buzz as well. No, obviously, Joe got the win Friday night, and then obviously going out yourself the next night. You must have felt that energy.
Do you know, it almost made me too confident. Well, not to make any issues, but I think that's almost the reason why I got clipped. I was like getting out and saw it, and I was like, "There's no one going to beat me. Like, no one's going to beat me here today." I'm just so buzzing. I think it didn't stay switched on. So it's obviously a good attitude to have, thinking no one can beat you, but at the same time, and maybe just need to sort of tweak it a wee bit where I'm like thinking like that, but at the same time switched on from the very start. But no, it was great. Charlie caught me, so just glad I recovered.
Yeah. What was your game plan going into the fight, and did it sort of go how you were expecting? Obviously, you didn't expect to get knocked down, but
it didn't. Our game plan was to put pressure on, back him up, and sort of do what we wanted to do. After the first shot, it sort of took me a long time to recover. I was even in the corner at the end of the first round, I was still sort of seeing like a daze in my left eye. But like for the whole first round, I was sort of just like in autopilot. I was just sort of like wrestling for the sake of wrestling. There was maybe some times I could have sort of really attempted to go for a takedown, and I sort of didn't. I was just happy enough to hold against the cage because I was thinking if I go for a takedown, he scrambles back up and we're out in the open. I couldn't get clipped. Even as well when he dropped me, I sort of had a real good bite on the leg lock and sort of had to let the leg lock go because he was trying to throw ground and pound strikes. I was like, the last thing I want to do is take any more damage, and I'm sort of already rocked.
Yeah. Like I say, you seemed like quite keen to keep it in the clinch and keep it on the ground. Did you feel a lot stronger there? Like,
see, that wasn't game hard, but as I say, it was just because I was so sort of still sort of rocked and dazed. I didn't want to like come back out in the open in case anything can cause another shot. I worked a lot on my striking this camp. I obviously didn't get to show that, but that's down to sort of the nature of how the fight went. I think sort of if I hadn't been clipped, it would have been a completely different fight. But this is the fight game for you. Do you know what I mean? It's and the famous quote says, like Mike Tyson says, it's like everyone has a game plan until you get a punch in the face, and that's sort of exactly how the fight went.
Yeah. Obviously, that moving down to flyweight, is that something I see? Obviously, somewhere you're going to be staying in the future now. Then, obviously, after this win at the weekend.
Flyweight's definitely the move for me. Even the cut this time, there was no real cut. I think didn't really cut end up having to cut much weight. I think the sort of cut was almost too easy. I sort of woke up one way in day, it was on weight, didn't have any stop loss to do, nothing like that. So, I sort of could afford to cut a little more weight. But I think maybe that was too cautious. Maybe lowered my calories too soon because I didn't want to sort of miss flyweight because I hadn't been a flyweight for so long. So I think it was maybe something to explore, look for moving forward as well. Maybe sort of get the exact science down of how I'm going to make flyweight. But as I say, it was maybe even too easy, I think.
Yeah. Did you feel the size difference when you were in there? Did you feel different at all? Or?
I feel like I really feel well. Everything was sort of perfect. And then I sort of felt like I had a decent sort of height and reach advantage on Connor. And he's one of the bigger flyweights. You know what I mean? So I think in the future, staying flyweight, I'm only going to get stronger and stronger, so we're more and more comfortable at the weight. So I think flyweight's going to be a great move for me.
Yeah. As soon as you got that guillotine, did it feel like you were going to finish it? Did it feel tight?
Oh yeah, 100%. So like a guillotine, something like all the lads in the gym will tell you, like my guillotine stick, it's tight. My guillotine it's something that I've sort of took with me from day one. I put a couple of boys to sleep and stuff in competition with guillotines. Like at the IMOFs and stuff. I put 2 boys to sleep with guillotine in some grappling competitions. So like the commentators, obviously, I understand they sort of have to talk with the people through what's going on, sort of like high Connor's going to get out and whatnot. But at the same time, I almost don't think they gave me enough credit as it was sort of happening. Like a lot of people are sort of thought, like the commentators almost sort of thought made it out to be like it was Connor's mistake if I got the finish rather than what it was actually me doing. Like as soon as he took me down, I wrapped the neck with my right hand, and instead of me trying to force it to finish it with my left hand, I let the left hand go.
Sorry, you said do you think it was more you were saying the commentators were sort of inferring it was Connor making a mistake rather than you obviously not doing well, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, so what I was using my left hand and left elbow the whole time to try to get my left leg free so I could get him back to full guard. This is a guillotine sort I work on quite a lot because a lot of guys are comfortable sitting half guard, but as soon as you get a half guard and back to full guard, completely changes the whole game. And sort of the commentators were aware of it. The commentators did say if Mulholland goes back to full guard, it's completely different. But they didn't sort of expect it to happen. So once I got back to full guard, he was like, "Oh, Conor Wilson's went back to full guard here or something." Back like as if to say it was his mistake. When really, if you watch the footage closely, you see my left elbow uses his. I use my left elbow to get his leg out of the way so I can get back to full guard. But yeah, the guillotine's something I use quite a lot of time. But as I say, it was good finish. But I sort of thought the commentators more put down to his mistake rather than my sort of setup.
Yeah. I saw you went for it a couple of times in the Jack McGuire fight as well. Obviously, to not as much success, unfortunately. Had you worked on it since then?
It's not something it's something I always sort of hit in the gym and always sort of go for in the gym. I would never really say work on it. But it is something that I sort of tend to go for in the gym if anyone ever leaves their head on, or if like if we're sparring and people are leaving their head on or wrestling, something I sort of tend to try to set up. Yeah.
You must have been buzzing after that win there at the weekend. Like, was
he
a tough opponent as well?
Yeah, I think I knew high level, especially in the striking. I'd fought Conor Wilson before amateur. I sort of felt like I beat him in amateur. I sort of out wrestled him then. But at the time I fought Conor, I didn't really have any striking, so I pretty much just did use my wrestling. That's where I was sort of hoping to show much more striking arsenal, but then obviously kept on couldn't happen. But I knew how high level his striking was and how good he was and stuff. Like Cage Warriors, you seen him on like the embedded and he's hitting pads and stuff. Conor's like he's real high level. And if you listen to any like the sort of the next gen team talk about him, like they all expect him to go right to the very top. So he's a really good high level fighter. I think obviously I've got him at the start of his sort of pro career, so it doesn't seem like that. But I think maybe
it was your last amateur fight, wasn't he? I believe, Conor.
Yeah. I actually think we were each other's last amateur fight.
Yeah, I believe so. I'm trying to remember Conor's record. I think it was, yeah. Did he feel familiar then? Because obviously it wasn't not been too long since you fought him before. Did it feel quite familiar? Like you're sort of getting back into it and could take like 4th and 5th round. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it did. The 5-minute rounds, I think, actually sort of helped me. I think by the time the 5 minutes was sort of lapsed, I think he was a little bit tired towards the end of the first round. From maybe just me land top of him, and the 5-minute round sort of gave me enough time to recover. As I say, sort of from the knockdown, I think it would have been a 3-minute round. I probably still would have come out in the second round a little bit dazed, but because of the 5-minute round, by the time I came back out in the second round, I was ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, you said you're saying earlier about how much you work on the guillotine in the gym. Do you have any sort of techniques of your own for that, for to keep it getting the guillotine tight and getting the finishes that way?
The guillotine finish wasn't something I seen coming. I didn't think he was going to shoot it. So it wasn't anything over, as I say, we sort of worked on his camp. The guillotine would sort of just be me I don't know if I was training on a training partner sort of left his head, and I would always go for a guilty. For this camp, it never sort of worked on. I never sort of envisioned it happen. Obviously, as I say, I know Conor had a big striking background. He was sort of karate background, before MMA. So the guillotine sort of surprised me. They shot in it.
Yeah. Obviously, they said you were straight back in the gym afterwards, mate, on Monday. Do you see yourself fighting again soon? Obviously, the Cage Warriors got an event coming up in August, haven't they, in America? Do you fancy yourself fighting on that?
I think they're sticking to sort of strictly American fighters for the Cali event, but I think I'm not too sure if they're maybe doing a trilogy or if they're maybe run the events again. I think maybe September time or shortly after. But I know they're not finished for the end of the year in terms of the UK scene. So I want to go straight back in training and then be ready for whatever comes up. So I'm hoping to have something in the pipeline. As I say, hopefully next few weeks, maybe the August event's over and then they're sort of focusing back on the UK scene or the European scene, whatever it is, and I'll be able to get a name, get a match up.
Are you trying to be as active as possible then?
Yeah, I would ideally like to get 3 fights in this year, at least maybe even 4, if sort of obviously depending on how events go. But I imagine if Cage Warriors have one September, October time, and then it would be maybe November, December time. So I'd probably say 3 of getting. But it's been a bit of an annoying year where, like, I know Cage Warriors are still running the trilogies even though it's been COVID sort of lockdown or whatever. But like, I wasn't able to fight on the March trilogy. They weren't able to get me matched up. And then the trilogy before that was the December trilogy. And I had a few things going on with personal life and stuff. So I missed out on the last 2 trilogies. I haven't fought from September 24th last year. So I'm sort of hoping to make up for a bit of lost time. Maybe get 3 or 4 in this year.
Yeah, has that been a bit frustrating then, that whole COVID period, not being able to fight as much as you wanted to?
Yeah, well, as I say, I know Cage Warriors doing a great job and Cage Warriors keeping the trilogy on for fighters, but obviously just with the trilogy always being so sort of spaced out, if you miss one, you are paying the price. So obviously, as I say, I wasn't able to get matched up for March time. There was just obviously so many fighters wanting on the card, and the card filled dead quick. And then obviously in the December time, it was down to my own personal reasons. But I was out of the cage for almost sort of a full year. I think it was out of the cage from September to June. So you're talking sort of 10 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Obviously, he's got so many amateur fights on your record as well. What do you feel like you take from them that you bring into your professional career that a lot of other fighters won't have because they don't have your experience?
Experience alone it's massive. I sort of feel like my experience. I fought like all over the world. I fought in Bahrain for the World Championships. I fought in Romania for the European Championships. Like with that sort of comes its own experience. Like I was sort of used to fighting in different crowds, used to fighting in no crowds. Like the IMOS, there isn't really any crowd, so the pandemic's nothing new to me. Fighting in front of no one isn't the new thing to me. I fought the Euros and the IMOS, and there's sort of no crowd at those. So it's not something like that's something a lot of fighters are experiencing for the first time. Probably I think Conor Wilson probably experienced that for the first time. Where for me it was sort of nothing new. And in different time zones, I'm used to fighting in different time zones, like different. For talk's sake, on Saturday we fought 2 o'clock during the day, and a lot of people were saying like, "Oh, it's a really early fight card." But again, the IMOS I was fighting like 10 o'clock in the morning, sort of UK time. So again, it was nothing new to me. It's just like the whole traveling, the way in, sort of fighting and traveling. I feel like I've sort of dealt with it all amateur. I don't think there's anything sort of pro level that's going to surprise me. Although the only thing I'd never been knocked down previously until this fight. So I think that's almost like all the strings on my bow now. I don't think there's nothing really new that's going to sort of throw up to surprise me. I'm only 25, still young in my career, do you know what I mean? So I have loads left to learn, loads left to improve. But in terms of sort of events and things that sort of happen inside and outside the cage, there's nothing really much left to surprise me.
Yeah, like nothing's new to anymore. It's all new to anymore. It's all like you're so used to doing it. It's all just sort of you're so to make you more relaxed whilst you're in there. Do you think?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think like fight after fight, to sort of get that as well. This is my first fight on the Fight Academy. A lot of things are different. Like this is my first time sort of doing a warm up Fight Academy. Sort of have like a Pat and Shando sort of had like a routine they wanted me to go through in their head. And it was it was me just like out, and this time it was really refreshing for me because what they done, they sort of don't they took me through the warm up, and I sort of felt like I was raring to go in the fight, and that's something like I've never really done before. I always done like bits and pieces to make sure I was warm going into the fight, but I've never maybe had like a structured warm up routine, and that's something I had this time as well. It's just obviously the whole atmosphere, like Paul being there. Paul's like a really good motivator, and obviously Joe won the world title beforehand. So like on Saturday, I was really raring to go. Like,
Yeah, was Paul there with you as well?
yeah, so we had the full team there on Saturday because Paul was doing an engagement on Saturday. So he was there at the venue. So it was me, Paul, Joe, and then Shando and me and Pat.
Yeah, that's great, man. Obviously such a good team behind you as well.
Oh yeah, I think it's. I know you see sort of some of the lads right like it's the best team in the world and stuff like this, but I mean they generally are such a good team. Pat and Shando, they put in so much like effort and sort of time towards all the fighters, and the fight team itself. Like there's so many good guys. On the mat, there's so many good guys pushing forward. Like he's just Joe's won the world title, and I think he sort of put the door open for a lot of guys from the club now to really push on to it. And it's just I think it'll just get better and better. I think obviously Joe's now he sort of took the first step, and then I think Paul will probably hopefully fight for the Cage World title by the end of the year, and you'll have two. And then there's guys like myself, like Matt Elliott and stuff coming through, Glenn McVeigh coming through, and there's so many of our amateur guys as well. Like I could be here all day naming some like, but there's so many guys coming through in the gym. I think like Joe win that world title, and bringing in the gym on Monday, so many guys have realised like, oh my god, this is like something I can really achieve. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really going to push so many guys on.
It's good seeing a lot of obviously coming out of COVID now. A lot of the smaller promotions in Ireland, opening up again. Obviously, it was like Clan Wars and Cage Legacy as well. Getting cancelled earlier on in the year, so it's a good thing seeing things getting started again now.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think once COVID sort of clears off, or if shows can run again, even under sort of certain regulations and whatnot, there'll be a lot of talent sort of get back on the grassroots, in the local scenes. I think we'll have like a lot of guys from Fight Academy Ireland will be fighting and stuff, and the more shows the better. But I think, as you say, Clan Wars are running another show, early August time. And I think there's going to be shows sort of popping up all over the place, and the more shows the better. As I say, all the guys will be active again, and it's just going to sort of create one big great atmosphere in the gym. Obviously, with all the pros fighting on sort of Cage Wars and whatever else, Glenn's on Brave, and then like all the amateurs sort of fighting on the local shows. Just keeps the whole gym busy, keeps the whole gym competitive, and it's like it adds that extra edge. Like the gym, if you had walked in 2 months ago, no one was fighting, but the gym was all still buzzing. All the fight team were still taking over. We're all training. But like once there's fight news, it just makes it gives you that extra 5%.
Yeah, just like just a buzz in the gym. You feel like like an atmosphere.
That's 100%. Everyone's you just want to push. Like you can be pushing 100%, but as soon as you get that fight news, or as soon as like someone's got a fight, you're always trying to push that extra 5% from. Do you know what I mean? And just let it raise the levels.
Yeah, no, that's good, man. Love to hear it. Appreciate you coming on for a chat, mate. I know you're quite busy, so I won't keep you too long, but I appreciate you coming on to talk about it.
Yes, no worries. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It was a great one at the weekend, mate. I'm very happy for you.
Yes, thank you very much. More to come. Keep an eye out for me. More to come.
Will do, man. Looking forward to it.